Hey, what's up 819S? So you got your license? Now it's time to buy a bike. Stick around and I'll walk you through the basics of buying a motorcycle in Japan. Like most places in the world, your two options are to go to a dealer or to buy from a private seller. This video will focus on buying from a dealer. There's so many reasons to buy from a dealer, and maybe in the future I'll go through the process of buying from a private seller. Let's start off with the necessities. What do you need? Of course you need your license, you need money, you need a Juminhyo, and you need an Inkan or a Hanko. The first two are self-explanatory and the second two are specific to Japan, but let me break them all down for you. At most shops I ask, they won't let you buy a bike that's outside of your license class. It wasn't clear to me if that was the law or the store policy, so my advice is to stick to what you're legally able to ride. If you plan to upgrade your license but you haven't completed the process yet, work that out with the shop staff. I'm sure they'll be happy to make the sale. When it comes to payment, cash is still king in Japan, and of course motorcycle prices range from, yeah, I can swing that, to holy cow, motorcycles cost that much these days? Whew. Therefore, you may be interested in financing your new treasure. I visited about 6 shops in my local area and all of them had some in-store financing. It was usually done through a third-party loan company such as Orico or Jax, and a few had actual in-house credit. You'll need to work out those details with your dealership. And I asked about the criteria for getting approved, and the dealer said it was in the hands of the credit company, and they usually don't give reasons for denying. Keep in mind you don't need any special visa status or anything. As an example, a permanent residence visa is usually required to get a credit card in Japan, but loans like this don't. While I'm on the topic of credit cards, not one shop I visited will let you pay with one. If you're interested in using a credit card to buy your bike, you're really going to have to hunt around and find a shop that will accept them. Next up, Juminhyo. I guess it would be translated as Proof of Residency Certificate, and it's a document that's issued by the city office. When you move into a new place, you need to register your address with the local government, and when that information is on record, you can request this document. It usually costs 300 yen and takes a few minutes to get, depending on how busy your city office is. If you go to the city office and they cannot provide you with the document, then you will need to register your address with the city office. If you stay in Japan with a semi-permanent address, or if you're hotel hopping or something, it may be impossible to buy a bike from a dealer. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but when I asked what you need to buy a bike, the first answer out of every dealer's mouth was Juminhyo, especially for foreigners. Finally, we have Inkan or Hanko. It's a personal stamp. They're used instead of signatures in Japan. There are several types, and they can be registered with the city office or not. The ones you buy at the dollar store are called mitome or mitomein. You don't register these with the city office because they're mass-produced. And all of the dealers I talked to said that they are acceptable, but if you have your own Hanko, it's probably better. Next up, choosing a bike. So there are some things you should think about when choosing your new beauty. Do you want a new bike or a used bike? How many cc's? I'm not talking about displacement to see how much adrenaline or monster energy is running through your veins. It matters when it comes to insurance and inspection. Keep in mind that anything over a 250 will require inspection every 2 years. That may sound fine on the surface, but it can be stressful if you plan to do it yourself, or expensive if you plan to have the dealer do it. I heard the average cost is around 80,000 yen for a dealer to do it, and around 40,000 yen if you plan to do it yourself. And also you have to factor in the cost to replace parts that may not pass, such as brakes, tires, and so on. If you plan to do it yourself, you also have to factor in time, because you may fail the first time, have to make some changes to the bike, and take it back to the inspection center. And there are also issues with passing inspection if you have a lot of aftermarket parts or a lot of customization. This is a little beyond the scope of this video, but it's definitely good to keep in mind. If you want to have a really custom bike, you have to be prepared with how to deal with it here in Japan. Navigating the world of private selling can be daunting, especially if you don't speak Japanese at a high level, or if you don't understand how to do an inspection of a bike to make sure that there's no mechanical or other problems with it. Dealers will generally be there to help you. The big chains have their name and reputation on the line, so they tend not to rip people off, although they do charge higher prices as a result. Most dealers offer at minimum a 3-month warranty, and they provide all the services that may be difficult for you to do on your own, like maintenance and insurance renewal. And finally, dealers have a wider selection of bikes available, If you go to bigger chains, they have a large inventory of bikes in various conditions and prices. So if there's a specific model you're looking for in a specific price range, they may be able to find what you're looking for. If the shop has accessories or other things for sale, you can try bundling them together and asking for a discount. There are brand dealerships for specific brands like KTM, Harley Davidson, Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, and so on. There are also multi-brand shops that generally buy and sell used bikes from almost all makers. And if you're a loyal customer at a shop, they may be able to give you a better deal on a trade-in or buying your next bike. Buying from a dealer will give you the peace of mind you need to enjoy riding in Japan. Last but not least, let's take a look at a few more expectations. So great, you chose the bike that you want and it's in your budget. You seem to be building rapport with the salesperson, all's going well. What should we expect? Well, the last few things to consider are inspection, insurance, and delivery. As I said before, inspection's only necessary on bikes over 250 cc's, so if your new machine is a 250 or smaller, you don't need to worry about this. New bikes will be given an initial inspection of 3 years and should be included in the cost of the bike. After that, you'll need to have the bike inspected every 2 years. If you buy a used bike that still has some time remaining on its inspection, you don't need to have it inspected until that runs out, but if the used bike is due for inspection, you will need to pay for that. Insurance is required. There are two kinds, Jibai Seki, which is compulsory insurance, and Nini Hoken, which is optional insurance. For compulsory insurance, the cost depends on the class. The classes are up to 125 cc's, 125 to 250, and 250 and over. The price difference between classes is not that big, and you can get a better deal if you choose a longer term. Jibai Seki can generally be between 1 year and 5 years in term, and it's always paid for in cash. Optional insurance is based on the rider's age and the motorcycle class. Generally, younger people are at higher risk, so they pay more, and the larger cc bike also becomes more expensive. As you get older, the prices start to go down. There are a lot of different levels of coverage and options available. Again, it's a little out of scope of this video, but it is something you need to be prepared for. I'll give you a quick example. I'm in my mid-40s, I ride a CRF 250L, and I pay 2,000 yen a month for the most basic optional coverage. Last but not least is delivery. If you walk into a dealer, threw down a huge wad of cash, you most likely will not be walking out with the bike on the same day. They need to register the bike for you, prep the bike, give it a final inspection and cleaning before turning it over. They'll get the license plate for you and get all your documents together. Make sure you ask at the dealer how long it will take. In general, you're looking at between a few days and 2 weeks. Understanding the market. If you want to get a feel for what motorcycles cost here in Japan, you can go to each individual motorcycle maker's homepage and you can find they usually list the prices of the bikes directly on the homepage, on the website. So that's one way to get the prices for new bikes. If you're looking for a used bike, goobike.com is a good place to start. It'll let you know what kind of bikes are available here in Japan and around what kind of price you should be expecting to pay for that bike. Those are usually smaller local dealers and can be spread all throughout the country. So it's a little difficult to navigate that site, but give it a shot. They have an English tab too that will help you find stuff if you don't speak any Japanese. If you bought a motorcycle in Japan and you feel like I left something out or I missed something, absolutely leave a comment below. It'll help everyone who's looking to buy a bike in Japan. If you have any questions, ask. That's it for this one. If you found it helpful, definitely smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. If there's anything you want to know that I didn't cover in the video, leave a question and I'll do my best to answer. I'll see you guys next time. Ride safe.